So that's a pretty powerful story and statement right there.
Yes.
Well, can I ask what? Well, I am going to ask,
It's your show.
what were you wanted for?
I was a severe drug addict.
Okay.
Yeah, I never sold, but I used a lot. And because of my training,
Like as in the military?
yeah, I
Okay.
wasn't the nicest guy. And if I wanted something, I took it. Not necessarily as a thief. I never stole from anybody, but if there was somebody that was trying to steal from me
Right.
and or get something over on me or my friends, this is pre-Jesus by the
Yeah.
way. Um, yeah, I wasn't nice. And so, yeah, it was a bad deal.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a major deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Terre Haute's Most Wanted to pastor. So I want to know, where was the turning point? How did
Sure.
what changed?
Yeah, you can ask anybody in my church, and they'll tell you this part of my testimony. They have it memorized. It was February 12th. That's all I have to say. And then from that point on, everyone else in the congregation in unison will say, February 12th, 1997, on the cold concrete jailhouse floor of the Vigo County Jail, I accepted Jesus Christ. And it was an amazing moment. That testimony within itself is very long. But long story short, I had a great cousin who never gave up on me. When
Mm.
everyone else did, she never did. And she helped me to accept Christ in jail. February 12th, and been with him ever since. I made a few
Yeah.
little backslides here and there in the beginning. I backslid 3 times, but it wasn't far. It wasn't for very long, and I came back home. So
Okay. I want you just, oh, I just banged the table. When you say the word backslide, what did that look like?
sure,
And when you say for not very long
yeah,
and a couple of times, are
yeah,
you talking 2 or 3 times over a 1 year period or several months or years?
yeah. 3 times within the first year.
Okay.
Um, again, here's what we have to understand, especially with people that come from the life that I lived pre-Jesus. I've always been 100% kind of guy. No matter what I do, I'm gonna do it at 100%. I hate it when people say 110%. I gave 110%. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Well, there's only 100 to give.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have available. If you're giving more, that means you weren't giving it all in the beginning. But that's just my own
Right.
um, opinion. But anyway, or fact. So,
Yeah.
when you have somebody that's lived the life that I lived, and you're coming to Christ, um, it was a huge transformation. It was a very powerful transformation. In fact, it was on the jailhouse floor, literally within the first few moments of my salvation, while I was being prayed over accepting Christ is the very first time I've ever heard God speak to me audibly. It's the very first time, and he told me, he said, one day you're going to be a pastor and you're going to preach to thousands.
Wow.
And I literally remember on my knees, and everybody around me must have thought I was crazy at the time, but I looked up and I said, you got the wrong crackhead. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And here we are years later and preaching to over 9,000 every Sunday. So
Yeah.
it's God's word is true.
Well,
He's
and
never
we're
wrong,
always trying to doubt that because we
right?
can't believe. And why is it that you think we typically don't want to believe he would use us in our brokenness? And in your
Sure.
case, it was an addiction. But if you look in the Bible, pretty much everyone he used was either a murderer or an adulterer or a thief, or a shepherd boy, the lowlier of the
Mhm.
occupations. It wasn't always the king
Well, I mean, the
or,
word even says, I will use. It's a promise. I will use
Mhm.
the lowly to humble the proud.
Right.
And it goes on and on. So I mean, that's who he is by
Yeah.
nature. For me, I believe obviously it was I did not have enough uh, of a knowledge of who God was or how he operated. I mean, I went to church as a kid, but again, most churches back then, you knew this guy named Noah and you knew about this guy named Moses,
Yeah.
but you never really understood how to apply their stories to our lives.